Why do we feel alone even when we know people? I used to check my phone after days and I would have not a single message. It used to be really bad, but then I turned it around fairly quickly. I began to understand parts about loneliness and connections that no one had taught me before. So in this video, I'm going to talk about mistakes I was making that were keeping me alone, some things I learnt about it, and the steps I took to finally resolve it so that hopefully it can help you as well.
Oh Lord, it's good to be here with you, Mr. O'Brien.
Loneliness sucks. It's not like someone calling you fat or ugly. It hurts in your chest. It hurts in your head. It hurts in your whole body. We all know that loneliness can make us feel sad. I mean, here's a study that shows that it has a bidirectional relationship with depression. There's one here that shows that social isolation increases your mortality rate by 30%. This is a big deal, but I'm glad I can say now I have friends. I have quality connections that make me feel cared for. But do I feel alone sometimes? Yes. Of course. There's always going to be that one-off Saturday night when everyone's planned something else with their families or whatevs. But loneliness doesn't define my life anymore. And a big part of this was a realization I came to that completely changed the way I saw friendships. I learnt that people being there won't really fix your loneliness, and I learnt that friendships don't really do it either. Let me explain myself here, because that's a bold claim. You've been to a party before, right? You've been to a gathering before, and you've probably felt lonely, despite people being everywhere. Maybe you know most of them. Even when I had friends, I felt lonely. I always thought, okay, I'm alone. I'll just get new friends. That will make it better. But I realized how wrong I was once I started to really connect with people. It's not just a lack of friendships, it's a lack of real connections. Real, genuine connection. It's real relationships with people. It's not having someone that can understand you, like you understand them. Someone who you can share your human experience with. Someone that might even make you mad because you give a shit about them. And that's why I think the advice of just get new friends doesn't really paint the whole picture. Of course, meeting heaps of new people gave me loads of new opportunities to make great friendships. But I could totally see how you could have heaps of friends and still feel alone. So I wouldn't worry so much about how many friends you have, and more so about the quality of those friendships, how connected you actually feel with others. So what did I do about that? Well, the best thing I've ever done for my loneliness was helping other people feel less alone. And I believe very strongly that that consequently helped my own loneliness improve over time. There's a quote that I really love. I think it perfectly encapsulates exactly what I'm talking about. If you want to be loved, love. But that leaves an important question. How do you make other people feel more connected and cared for? How do you make other people feel less alone? Here are some ways that I tried to help other people feel less alone. I stopped texting people and calling people only when I had to, or to get something out of them. I started doing it just to say good morning, just to check in on them, to see how they're going, to have a fun conversation, even to just check what their thoughts are about something. To connect with others better and to put conversation on easy mode, I would listen more often and have conversations to connect, not to prove something to others. Because the truth is, not many people listen at all. A major part to fixing my loneliness and building kind of a base network of friendships was getting out of my comfort zone, expanding my bubble. I was confining myself to the bounds of only people that I knew, which was a mistake I was making. I had to give new or unfamiliar people in my life a chance. Because you know what? Some of the most closest and supportive friends I've ever had in my life are people that I knew of, but never really spoke to for years, until I actually started putting in effort to develop some kind of connection with them. I think you're also building your own fence if you only communicate with people to fix your own loneliness. I was doing that for a long time until I realized it's kind of like going to the gym only when I feel lazy that day. And I was definitely staying inside my bubble by only focusing on people that didn't really respect me or didn't really want to be friends with me as well. Anyways, here's a problem. If you try to form a relationship with someone, they will never want to form it back with you. This is how I used to think. Being more open with people and trying to develop a connection felt risky. And not only that, I had a feeling which I think is very common, and that's that getting closer to people felt weird or needy. It felt wrong. It felt weak and small. Quality relationships, true friendships take vulnerability, and vulnerability is scary. And that was a huge roadblock for me at the very start. I was afraid that the past might repeat itself, that if I give to the world, it won't give back. Of course, not everyone is legally obligated to reciprocate, and that made me cynical. I was keeping myself from meeting new people and getting close to them. Those kinds of thoughts, why even bother? I'm boring as a person, I'm weird, I'm annoying. And so after a while, I went fuck it. I decided one day I'm sick of this. I'm sick of feeling alone. I'm sick of watching other people have fun with each other. Why can't I fit in? Why can't I get that? So I decided, you know what? I'm just gonna give it a go. I might get hurt, but I just have to do this. I have to start somewhere. I have to let go of this stuff. There were a few things that were a big help for these kind of fears and anxieties, and therapy was one of the biggest helpers. But another thing that helped was practice. Practicing being open with people, practicing forming connections and relationships. Sure, sometimes it wouldn't work out, but when it did, that really showed me that, hey, maybe this isn't so bad. Yes, some people might not respond because that's happened before, but I'm here to tell you this right now. The past does not determine what's going to happen in the future. But what about that wall in the middle? Well, it might be really surprising, or it might not be. You actually need people to do this stuff. You can't just do it with no one. We need people to create connections with, and we've already talked about people that already exist in our lives. But what if we don't know anyone that we can create a connection with? When I got back from overseas a few years ago, I only had one group of friends that I saw every 2 to 3 months. Luckily, around that time, I got a job at a restaurant. I'll be honest, the work sucked, but the people were amazing. They were great people. And as we got closer and closer, we just started hanging out after work, and then outside of work completely. And the reason why we got closer and made friends without even necessarily trying that hard is because I went to a place with people that were similar to me, and I went there often. Going somewhere where you're going to see people similar to you on a consistent basis. Almost all of my close friendships come from people from work, education, sport, and hobbies. Check it out on Facebook. There might be a community a kilometer away from you that you can walk to once a week. Contribute to society and get a job. Find hobbies you're interested in, or find an existing one that you already do and just go nuts. There's a Warhammer and D&D club that's a 3-minute drive from my house, and if I was into that, I'd be going there almost every day. Pause. Could you make friends with someone that you rarely see? I've done it before, but that's a question for you to ask yourself. Are you comfortable with that? Is the other person comfortable with that? Are you prepared for it to not go anywhere? But I guess, yes, it's perfectly possible. But whether I was seeing people on a weekly basis or yearly, I still needed to take initiative. It's tough. I'm not gonna lie, this is not an easy thing to do. But once I started taking initiative and becoming the inviter, things went uphill very quickly. It's hard at the start, but trust me, it gets much easier over time. Also, here's a big list of things that you can invite people to. Feel free to pause it if you want. The people who like your presence as much as you like theirs. The people that appreciate you as you appreciate them, that want to spend their time with you. They exist. They're real. Awesome. You've made new friends, but what do you do with them? What do you invite them to? Well, this video here might help with that. And this video is sponsored by me. If you want to improve your confidence, your social skills, your charisma without wearing a mask, you can check out the social workshop below. This video is a mess, I know, but please let me know if that helped you in the comments section below.